How physically banged up are you?
Because of my amateur background over the years, I never got hurt in wrestling. Because if you got cute with me, I would throw almost like I got to tell you the story. Bob Backlund got so mad at this here tough man contest, so he entered himself and he threw on the chicken wing of all these tough guys. 9 of them in a row gave up in less than 2 minutes. The chicken wing is just a great amateur hold, but when it applied to someone with the strength of Bob Backlund, you got to give up or you'll break your arm.
Right. Wow.
So I was the same way. I have a couple holds, and if you don't, an amateur can always beat anybody that don't know what they're doing, right? In fact, the Ultimate Wrestling, I watched 29 matches, 28 matches all gave up from a wrestling hold. So wrestling is way ahead of it.
Who are some of your favorite guys that you like to work with back in the day?
I like to work with Bob Geigel. I like to work with Dirty Dick Murdoch quite a few times. I love to work with Dick Bruiser. It was like one guy said wrestling is such a phony thing, and he was bigger and stronger than me. He said, why should Ox Baker beat me on TV? So I rubbed a little skin off of his head.
Huh.
A week later I was supposed to wrestle Bobo. He brought a watermelon into the thing. He said, Ox! Bobo don't like to get hurt. He took that watermelon and smashed to get his head and broke it in two. I said, Bobo, you'll never feel me in the ring. That was the way it was. You had to get told like it was. And I had over 80 matches with Bobo and never knew he never knew I was there. I never knew he was there.
Wow. As far as ribs go, what are some ribs you might have seen?
Well, it so happened, when I say I wasn't in click, I had a lot of guys that say, watch out for that, because the greatest rib of all times was the Mabel rib. Have you ever heard of the Mabel rib?
Mabel from Men on the Mission?
No.
Okay.
What they would do...
that was a rib. Go ahead.
What they would do, they say, do you know the girl in the front row wants your body so bad she trembles every time you see her? The next week, say, you would get a note from her saying, could I have just 5 minutes of your time?
Right.
And the guy would come in the dressing room, he'd brag about it, right? The third time, she said, she wants me at the motel, and she's paying for the room, and we're going to do everything, right? So the guys would all follow him to that motel waiting for her, right? They would go in there, and she said, let's just take all of our clothes off one at a time.
I might have heard it. Go ahead. I heard this one.
Oh, did you? Yeah.
Is this the gun?
The guy would knock on the door. My wife in there? And he'd pull back the hammer on the shotgun.
Yeah.
Open that door or else. They had guys jump through windows, right?
Right.
Scream, I don't even know her. I don't even like her. And that was the great... I had guys that do it. But it was funny. I want to talk about this here because ribs were so funny. The great ribbers themselves didn't like to be ribbed. They could always put it out. They couldn't take it. Me, I ribbed a lot of people, but I always could take it. It works both ways, But the real good ones, they would wait outside of motels and pour water on your head. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
They would take your sheets and fold them halfway under so you couldn't get into your bed. Right? These were always the worst guys. I seen them yell and scream over the years. Who did that? I was going to slap that, beat somebody up. How can you mess up my bed that way, And they always forgot the ribs they were doing on guys. It was all right if they did it, but if you did it, it was wrong.
Right. Is there anything I left out that you want to talk about?
All I want to say is everybody I talk to wonders why you can't kill wrestling. And the reason being, like Vince 4 or 5 years ago came right out and said, wrestling is phony, blah, blah, blah. We cut our heads open, we do this and that there. We're told what to do. And you know what? What I did over the years, I've talked to two people. One guy said, "Is wrestling phony?" And I'll say, "Yes, it is." "No, it can't be. I seen this guy do that." The next guy will say, "Okay, it isn't phony." "Yes, it's phony. I see him talking in the ring." We are in an era right now where people have got to find some way to relax these tensions we have. Things are happening all over, disease, wars, whatever. They got to be entertained some way or another, and wrestling does it for them. It took me 5 years. I haven't did it in a couple years. I used to knock the new style of wrestling. Well, how does that get over? Up, 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 up. But I went to 3 or 4 matches in the last year. They was complete sellouts, and the people cheered and laughed just like they did in my day. So it's just, the story is, no matter what's happening, if it's up to date, like right now, the people are going to go see it. And when they say that wrestling is dead, you can't kill wrestling, because people will always need some sort of entertainment. And the great thing about wrestling, you can yell at the guy. I couldn't tell you how many acorns upside of my head in Puerto Rico. You can throw things at the guy. You can trip him. You can spit on him. And nobody will do anything about it. Any other sport, if you throw a can at a football player, they would drag you out, right? At a tennis match, if you yelled at somebody, you're a geek, you get thrown out. You can do all that in wrestling, and the people know it. And a lot of times I've even heard, well, it's the clientele that goes there. I've seen people go to wrestling matches in tuxedos. I've seen people that are highly educated. They still go. They need that entertainment. There's something about it, you know. They got to laugh, right? It's like with all the television, why hasn't the movie industry went out of business? Because you still like to sit down and watch a good movie, even though you can turn your TV on and see it. You'll never ever kill wrestling. People will all love it. And the idea, all the wrestlers, and I got to say, I think the wrestlers are in better shape than we were in our day. But the only thing was, more of them get hurt nowadays than they did in my day, because they entertain the people with the big money they're making. They actually do too much.
Right. Is there anything you want to say to your fans out there?
I'm glad you asked about that, because I told before, never hit a fan, never pushed a fan, because I was very well aware if I did the right thing and filled the house up, I got paid more money. If I did the wrong thing, like the riot in Cleveland, nobody came back for 6 weeks. You got to do the right thing. If you entertain them people, they'll come back to see you. And the big money is made by well, they're not so much nowadays, by the way, but the people who are there are paying your wage. So be good to them, entertain them, and love your fans.
Watch thousands of exclusive shoot interviews right now on TitleMatchNetwork.com.